have to take, if you want to do that, as someone who listens like attentively and lets themselves go very deliberately to the extent that they're not embarrassed or worried about doing certain things with their bodies or like being certain ways, you have to take responsibility for where you are and what you're doing. And you can't just, like, I don't want to start putting, it's not about rules, about saying you can't do this. Just the only rule is to just be as open and as daring as possible. Okay.
We're here, my friend.
We are.
David.
That's me.
And that's your full name for me?
David Roland Westcombe.
Wow. Beautiful.
But David Westcombe for slightly shorter.
Yeah, for sure. We're sitting here.
We are.
Going to be having a little chat about music, things, art, community.
Sounds
so,
good.
why don't you start us off with a little introduction? Maybe starting off.
About who I am and what I represent.
Sure, that's lovely. And maybe segueing that into your connection to jazz club.
Yeah.
And what brought you in?
Okay, so I'm a flute player by trade. And I came here about 9 years ago to study and then stayed, and I play a lot of different music, mostly old music, stuff from 17, 1800s. But I love improvisation. I've listened to jazz more than, like in terms of genre, jazz and also house and hip hop and stuff, other things that I'm playing in my house at home. So I worked here, started working here a while ago, and I met Adam in here, I think.
Here is...
Black Gold, I should mention. This esteemed establishment.
Esteemed, and I say OG establishment, but
yeah, it's also...
It's a nicer way to put it.
Well, if you want.
Yeah.
If you wish. So we met there, and he had the idea of... I was already playing with some records in the shop just because it's fun, and it's just fun to improvise. And I'd wanted to do it for a while, but I was scared because it's just a scary thing for me, like to stand up in front of people and improvise, especially coming from a classical background. But he was like, no, come and try something. And we did. And the first one was in Oyster Park in, I can't even remember.
Yeah.
2020 or something.
Yeah, about 3 years ago going on now.
3 years ago? Okay. Went super well. It was really fun. There was a lot of stuff I wanted to work on. So it's very much been a personal journey to join like jazz club, which was what it became. Because I wanted to see if I could. And there was a platform that allowed me to try it. So.
Beautiful. You spoke a little bit about it being a bit of an experiment for you, and something a bit novel for you.
Yeah, novel. I think experiment is the right word because when you're on the outside of, so I studied in conservatorium, right? So everything is kind of, in a way, it's limiting because it puts you into a kind of curriculum of what is good or worth studying, and the stuff that's not mentioned is not mentioned, and you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And with jazz, it's even more difficult and stricter in the conservatorium. It's all very regulated over how you learn it over the histories, and I actually always really respected that. So I like the idea of studying historically how something came to be. That's also what I do. But it meant that I knew there was a massive gulf between me and jazz musicians who had been through that. And even more so, jazz musicians who had been through the real kind of way into that music, which is, it's got a very rich history in America.
Yeah.
Which,
a bit more underground, a bit more raw. Yeah,
like definitely, against the government a lot of times, like people not being allowed to, predominantly not white, definitely in the beginning and continuing, and people like me, it's easy enough to dip your toes and stuff when you feel like it. Yeah. But for the people who really matter to the music's history, they were doing it because that was their lifeblood and their history.
Absolutely.
Miles Davis, Coltrane, Thelonious Monk, all of these guys are for them it was like the space that they could be in as themselves. Yeah. And I'm not here to say I reckon if I practice enough. No. So improvisation for me is something that I've always been curious about, what it means to improvise and how you get to a place that you feel good yourself doing it, because improvising is composition, it's creative. It's like making a painting at the time. You can't just slap some random colors on a board and say, look. without like the proper consideration.
Yeah.
So a jazz club, you know, the experiment for me was, okay, I'm allowed to do really what I want here, and no one is, you know, judging me, and therefore maybe I don't have to judge myself.
Yeah.
And so I became freer to try things out, which was like try and make a conversation with the flute, try and make a conversation within music, try and join these tracks that are essentially complete, and try to add something, play with them as if with a band, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what it's been for me. That's the experience.
Yeah. What's some early feelings that came about once you entered that space a bit, and yeah, how did it feel to be able to start experience and have a place where that could be practiced?
It felt pretentious at first.
Okay.
It felt like we were pretending, and sometimes it feels like we still. I feel like there's like this general kind of you can do it in our circles that is very supportive, but not always based on anything.
Yeah.
And
you don't want always just a bunch of yes men.
Well, yeah, and there's like,
around
you know, we say jazz club is like house music and stuff, but like real house music in Detroit and all this stuff, it's like a real deep history here, and like the respect that needs to be had for that was not something I always saw as happening all the time in jazz club.
Yeah.
I knew it was there, I knew there were people in there that were, but I also know that, you know, in Amsterdam where they kind of like make anything and sell anything, they're like, what they want is like a cool dance night where people can go and like have a good time and then leave.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, for me, that's not what house music for me is like modern church. Like it's like spiritual. It's like something where you leave your body. And
it's a soul thing. It's a spiritual thing.
And you're vulnerable. Like vulnerability is like the chief concern and want and need I have from both us and our audience, our dear kind of benefactors and people who come and join and listen. You know, I want a joint vulnerability.
Yeah, I think it's a good segue into some of the things we wanted to chat about. Our community, inviting our community into. Maybe we could chat first a bit about like the way we view going out and seeing music in the context of the way it is now. And maybe some of the differences that we've been picking up in an audience like Jazz Club.
Yeah, it's interesting. It kind of something I really like about Adam and you, but I mean, I know this more about Adam. I mean, we get along really well, but with Adam, he very much started when he started, and I was always very like kind of critical and, you know, douchey, and like, which I am. And I was like, you can't do this, and this isn't good, true to the form, or blah blah blah. And he was always saying, okay, man, and like trying to kind of better himself like that, and through that, he's always kind of searched for a way into this creative, artistic side of things that at first he said that he felt he was a weird bridge between something that was quite like moneyed, like the idea of like being fiscally independent in Amsterdam means that you need to be thinking about business all the time and all this shit, which I hate. And then looking towards this creative thing. And I think that with our audience, you know, we have a unique opportunity. I've had conversations with people in the clubs when we're there, and they're like, oh, you know, it's so cool what you guys are doing. I feel really free in the space. And a lot of them are kind of relatively young, maybe like 20s, 30s, and they're looking for like a way in or out of, you know, respectively into this creative scene and out of their kind of slightly more restricted
consumer based.
Which is and it's not to say we're better or separate. It's just to say like if we're going to do this, let's do it together.
Absolutely.
You know, but then you have to take, if you want to do that as someone who listens like attentively and lets themselves go very deliberately to the extent that they're not embarrassed or worried about doing certain things with their bodies or like being certain ways. You have to take responsibility for where you are and what you're doing, and you can't just like, I don't want to start putting, it's not about rules, about saying you can't do this, just that. The only rule is to just be as open and as daring as possible with how you experience things, and that takes practice. It's not something that just, you know,
that's something. Speaking of practice, like what speaking of practice of being comfortable in those spaces, as someone who feels like they want to experience music in a certain way, are there other circles, other experiences that you've had that also feel connected to
I mean
this way?
The interesting thing is, because as I said, I play like a lot of classical music, right? And the problem with classical audiences is mostly like old white people are there, which is fine. It's not that I don't hate them, but the problem is that a lot of it is like based around an elitist kind of like, oh, you know, we've spent this much money and this much time getting to where we are, and this is what represents us. And the music has a weird colonial history. The stuff I play sometimes. But you know, the main thing is time. It's about how much time you spend enjoying and digesting music, stuff that you love. Because the longer you spend doing that, you know, the better you get at discerning that moment when you're really like, oh my god, something special is happening. Yeah. So yeah, that's like in terms of like special experiences, like I get to go to all these like weird kind of like staged. Like the other day I was playing for Matthew Passion. It's like April, so the Dutch are obsessed with Bach, J.S. Bach. And there was a staged Matthew Passion where they were trying to like kind of recreate the Passion of the Christ as told by Matthew with this music that Bach wrote, and then with these kind of like amateur actors on stage, and like some of it was like lame as hell, but some of it was amazing. And like that's the stuff that you have to just go on a limb. Sorry. Weird experiences.
You're fine.
That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've done some cool stuff here. I mean, like, you know, the stuff that we do, that you guys do, the stuff I really like is when you find these buildings with different rooms where you could put, okay, we're going to do like a live jam session here, and then you can move on to like the club area here, and this place is going to be for like experimental dance. But like, you know, you set all of that up, and it needs to, you know, what's really cool is that you have this audience that it feels that you're kind of teaching how to occupy a space creatively.
I think that's a point. I think a point of like leading by example, maybe not saying like we're here to preach how nightlife should be, but reintroducing concepts that ourselves have found really magical, and one of those being like having a night where you could explore different emotions, whether that be really high excitement and movement and dance, or sitting and resting and really enjoying a beautifully composed piece or written music and stuff like that. I think having an opportunity in a night when you go out that you could experience a range of emotions, not just super high and go, is something that makes these events feel a bit special. So I think maybe you could speak a little bit upon like maybe that teaching you're saying, or like what we're inviting some of our audience into experiencing.
Well, it's what you're saying. The range of emotions is exactly the point. I mean, the point about range is that it's not all happy and joy. A lot of it is like despair and anger and sadness and like things that people aren't comfortable with. And I think one of the things that I want to get away from in this scene is the idea of being comfortable, of like you pay to go somewhere and therefore you're going to have a good time. It's not about that. You're part of a congregation of people, a group of people, and if you will I don't want to say submit, but it's like if you just give yourself to that night and to allow yourself the music to like move you in a way, and you can also say, you know, this isn't moving me, it's not doing anything for me, I'm out. That's also fine. Like because it means you're listening critically. And I'd rather that than like you know, just it's all pretty good.
No, I think listening critically is kind of the belly of what we're inviting people to come and do.
You had this listening bar recently, and I really liked it. But I think that, you know, we can do more with how to, you know, having breaks in listening. I mean, the thing about club nights, right, dance nights, is there is no break. There shouldn't be a break. The point is you enter into this thing. There is a kind of journey that you go on. You come out the end changed, hopefully, or whatever. But with listening bars and stuff, you can listen to something and say like, why did I like that? This. The bass came up here. It was really cool. We had like a string quartet here. I love that part. You know, this kind of thing. And you know, we are in a position that if you do have this following for Jazz Club, which you do, they're lovely people. They're like really, they're trying something out all the time, these people. Then we have the opportunity to kind of together do, I mean, so like for me, art, like a great creative thing is like a sum of three parts, which is like creator, performer, and creator, performer, and receiver. And like, I feel like a lot of times people think that the audience is there to just And they're not. Like, without them, there is nothing. It doesn't matter. What's funny is that when you're playing to yourself, like playing with yourself in a room alone, you are the audience then. So it's not that there isn't one. The problem is that there's a very biased audience listening, you know. But we have this audience that hopefully, if we can get them to be unbiased and really kind of critical and attentive and taking responsibility for the event, then they're going to notice when things are shifting in a certain way. And then sure, we're in more danger, because if you have like a DJ or if I'm playing something that's actually a bit garbage and people notice, I'm like, oh no. You know? Which should be. That's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway. Time. It takes time. That's the worst part. And that's the hardest part right now, is that everything feels like, shit, we only have this much time to figure this out. Like, and because, you know, Adam, he started from, you know, where he started from, and he's always like trying to figure some stuff out. Same with you, same with me as well. Like improvisation, right? When I started, that was live. It was like one of the first times it was the first time I played with a DJ. And so I had to like make stuff up literally. And it wasn't very good. Like, and it's got better, and there are still a lot of moments where I'm like, what was I? I listened back to some of the stuff, and I'm like, what is that? But we have to take the time, and so
absolutely. No, I think if we're asking our audience to take the time to listen intently, we also ourselves.
Of course, we do it first.
We have to hold our responsibility, you know. And I think there's something you said a moment ago about. Lost me. It's okay.
Clearly it wasn't meaningful.
No, it's because you brought something else that I was more excited about.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Was it like vulnerability, or like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think about what I said. It's just a melange of garbage. No.
That's great.
No, but I was thinking, because it's about occupying that space, the perfect space between entertainment and art, because everything right now is geared towards entertainment.
Absolutely.
You know, all the chart toppers, everything is like, you know, four-bar phrases that are very easy to, like, you know, earworms, all this bullshit. But like art, where art sits, is like really uncomfortable stuff that kind of gets you to question yourself, and like you don't like it all the time. But it's not about liking; it's about feeling. And if it touches you, then you're like, okay, it's actually really good.
Absolutely, it shouldn't be easily digestible.
But it shouldn't also be shit. So like that's the other thing, is like sometimes people are like, I'm going to be super creative, and then they do something, and everyone's like, and it's like, and you look at it and you're like, what? Because the best thing about art, one of the best things for me, you know, everyone's done this. You go to those shows, you see something, you sit there, and you come out and you're like, oh my god, that was incredible. Like what? Like, okay, what have I been doing? Saying that I even dare to say that I like this stuff. There was that. This is like, you know, I saw the Roots, for instance, right? I went to see the Roots perform, and like they come here all the time. They're a super famous band. They've got their own like slot on this talk show. They have loads of money. They can do whatever they like, you know. But they turned up, Paradiso. They showed up and they did. Oh, bro!
What a legend.
Well, kind of. It's still a Tesla. Fuck you, Musk. No, I'm just kidding. Are we allowed to? No. So I went to see them, and they put on the show, and I was like, this is like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's so tight. They were communicating with each other. They were giving each, like Questlove and Black Thought, like know each other so well that you know they were giving each other this perfect amount of space. So there was this conversation developing between all of them, and I was like, this must have taken like real rehearsal time. You know that, and it does. But they did it, and it was perfect. The guitarist took this solo that was just should have been so inappropriate, but was so perfect at the time. We got another situation. Is he gonna make it? Sorry, nice guys. Sorry.
Nog meenemen?
Thanks, man.
Sorry hoor, ja. Dus,
sorry.
Is gewoon dat.
Ja, misschien...
It's okay, right? They're fine.
Wow.
Well, yes. What else?
No, I was going to say something about audience, about shifting the narrative of audience of being, I think, something that we're hearing people reflect more on is just how artist-centric and DJ-centric experiences are, and I think bringing it back to it being more about the audience, serving the audience about the experience of the dancer, about the experience of the viewer, as opposed to...
Absolutely. I mean, the problem is everything is too individual these days anyway. It has been going that way. Everyone feels that they need to have like an artist, like a perspective. Like everyone is creative. Everyone is... It's like the fact is most of us aren't creative a lot of the time. Like if you're doing that, you're dying at 27 and that's... Most of the time we're just trying to get through. And like, it's about not focusing on any one thing. Like, you know, this whole idea of focusing on a DJ performance. Like I remember when I first started doing these gigs and I would like hide behind plants and shit. When I was playing with my friend Eric, who's a great DJ, and like people were like, "Oh, we wanted to see you more." I'm like, "Fuck, you know, fuck is that?" Like, listen to the flute, you can hear me. And it's like this idea of even being on stage. I don't know. There's what you know. The dream is that everyone gets their eyes like put out before the concert, or like you know they can't see anything, and they're just there and they're listening, and like they're just, you know. And if there is something to look at that's really cool, great. Yeah. But the main thing is that the vibrations and hearing this stuff and like moving your body to those vibrations and
you're feeling it. Right. You're feeling it.
And you don't need to think like, oh, I as a listener am not being taken care of. Of course, you can say I didn't enjoy it, and these are the reasons why. But it's also not, you know, we're not there for ego. Like it shouldn't be about the DJ, 100%. Absolutely. But it also it's not, of course, about anyone. Yeah. That makes sense. So.
No, absolutely. I think it's about a joint collective experience, I think. Yeah. And I think everything feeds off of each other, and I think the experience only gets better and better.
Exactly.
If all parts involved are approaching it in a more selfless way.
Well, it's hard because, you know, the main thing is community. Like, the thing that we don't have, right, is community. What we have is, like, Instagram videos and TikTok and all this stuff that we can be like, oh, we have this show here, let's join together once every, like, 3 months or whatever. And try and do a gig. But like what you used to have with really good house music, and like you know, even when I was like, you know, when you're at uni and you're going to the events and stuff, and you know all the people there because they're your friends.
Exactly.
So you guys are like personally attached to each other, and so you bring each other up. It's like the opposite of a shared trauma. It's like a shared, you know, whatever.
Shared joy,
if you like. Yeah. Something that like moves you. And our problem is that we have this almost unknown element where there are people, I see them and I'm like, oh, ciao man, nice to see you guys.
Yes, man.
You know, here we have a kind of community of like customers. I mean, I live in The Hague now, so I'm fucked. But like, I mean, I love The Hague, but it's far from Amsterdam. But we have this kind of community. But if we can't take care of it, and if we can't see each other more often and behave really as if we're living in a village or whatever, then we have to come up with kind of more. What's the word I'm looking for? Artificial ways.
Yes.
Artificial ways of creating this communal experience.
Yeah. You know? And nothing feels as authentic as IRL.
Right. Oh. Yes. I have to be IRL. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
It's
almost like it is authentic.
Speaking in online terms. Right. But yeah, man. Speaking of community, speaking on community, I think it's something that takes time.
Yeah.
It's something that you can't just create a product and feel like, okay, now we have a party or now we have this thing and we're creating community. You can't create community. It's something that you're constantly developing through these IRL experiences, through coming together, through sharing expression. Yeah. Not just amongst artists, but also sharing expression as a viewer of yourself through dance, through interacting, so the way you receive it. And I think, if you want to speak a little bit on like maybe times where you have felt great community or have felt not even just at jazz club, just in general.
Well, here is a really good example. I mean, Black Gold Cafe, shout out. Cafes in general, I mean, really good cafe culture. I mean, one of the reasons I love being a barista in my part-time is when you find the non-arsehole barista cafes that aren't like just kind of geared towards making money from like people who love light roast coffee or whatever, or say they do. You know, what it is really, a cafe is like where people just congregate and like share and talk about stuff, which is why we have like the no laptop thing here. It's like, it's not your workspace. It's like the space where we commune together, right?
That's the history of cafes and coffee shops. Is that they're meant for gathering, for conversation. and for and at many times in history as a place for not just activists, but like any kind of social groups to kind of meet.
Yeah, exactly.
And have spaces where they can
They're
speak
dangerous
freely.
spaces, man.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the main thing, is that a really communal space is very dangerous for any sort of like larger kind of governmental thing, because it is where people really start sharing their opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think spaces that also feel dangerous are true artist spaces, because people have, the ability to speak freely, to move freely, to feel free to express themselves.
Exactly.
And I think that's something that we're also trying to cultivate, to kind of maybe battle.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, in Amsterdam it's really hard because you are against this constant pressure of money, like of how to afford these venues. I mean, I remember again with my friend Eric, we tried to put on a couple of gigs, and when you put on even a free gig here, people are suspicious because they're like, well, is it going to be good if we don't pay for it? And it's like, that's not the point at all. Like the danger of like, of course we have to charge for tickets, but I feel like the danger of charging for tickets, when something's free, people, the problem is when someone pays for something in today's age, the problem is there's a kind of like expectation from the money that's created. And that's okay. I'm not saying there shouldn't be something for your money, of course, but that's not what it's about. Like, that's not why we're here. Yeah. And like, we're not playing for like, thousands and thousands of euros or something like this. We're there to put on this party, and like, it is hard to like, I'm not doing it. I'm really glad that I don't have to do it. I always say, also with other ensembles, I said, look, I'm not doing funding applications. I don't do any of this shit. I'm sorry. I'm really bad at it. I won't do it on time. My time management's terrible. I can play the flute.
I'll show up and kill that.
I can talk. Shit for ages.
Fair enough.
But,
no, I think the idea of expectation, because experience being commodified so much, is also something that like demands, like trying to battle that demands people to slow down a little bit, which is really hard. It demands people to not get something that's like an instant gratification of going out. I pay for something that means like I need to have a good time. Like no, we're inviting people to like being invited to this. Being invited to this might feel.
I'm just watching this happen.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all good.
You're good. We didn't mess anything.
No, we are recording. So you're correct, but also it's okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, we just make them crash. See, this is what I mean. Critical listening, critical experience of this event. He's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful man. Sorry. Anyway, spaces, expectation, money.
I think challenging people is also something.
Making sure that the expectation is a personal responsibility as well as just a kind of exchange of money, of product.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think the common misconception is nightlife is a product.
Yeah, exactly.
When yes, there's a lot more business going into it now. There's a lot more money into it now. The past few decades, at its core, it's a sense of not just art, but a place of relief, a place to connect, a place to release in a way, and
a place to practice like creativity in a way.
Yeah.
Like really, that's what it is. Live listening.
Absolutely. Cool.
Live listening.
Listening. Great.
Okay.
Well, look forward to having you already.
Can't wait. 27th, right?
27th coming up.
27th of March.
Yeah. 2 floors gone.
After I do a Bach gig, I'm coming straight from that one.
The duality.
Yeah, man. It's really fun.
Musician. Love to see you.
It's lovely to see you, Nikko. Flute.
Lovely. the flute. I played with someone that had an iwi.
Hey,
in New
fuck
York.
yeah.
It was epic. He was a sick flutist as
Man,
well.
iwi is like the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Robin, can I stop doing this shit now? Or what? Okay, all right.
No worries. You're doing well.
I'm just filming more than that.
You're not trying to bust out here?